Good morning. Well, it's morning for me. I don't know if it's morning for you. I hope anyone who watches this, you're doing well. Um, I just kind of wanted to have a live stream today. I thought about doing like a video, but I was just like, let me just. I think really what I need here is that I need to just talk to someone, regardless if I think they're watching. I can see them and they're talking back. I've had a hell of a month, you guys. The month is not even over. Um, I mean, I can't wait for November, December. I truly want to take the last 2 months of the year off to do as much little work for other people as possible. I mean, if the store still schedules me for classes, that's fine because that's only a few hours at a time, maybe once or twice a week. That's fine. But like as far as making people's outfits and doing what I'm also what the basis of this video is doing production assistant work. I just want to take the rest of the year off. I want to concentrate on making new designs for my Eclectic Visions brand label. Trying to figure out what do I plan to do with 2020, the new year, you know. I feel I should take more bold steps into doing something as I get older. I mean, I'm not getting any younger, and I'm okay with that. I feel more confident, I guess, and secure in myself as I get older. I do think it's cool when younger people have that mindset that just kind of sets you up just for nothing but good in your future. Um, I'm super tired. I worked 16 hours yesterday on a shoot. I can't quite talk about it yet. I'll just for legal reasons, I'll just wait. It was a music video. I'll say this much. It was a music video for a Australian country music star. That's as much as I'll say. Of course, I'm in Texas, so country, Texas, Southwest landscape. You know, they go together like whatever analogy you want to use. It goes together. So, um, so yeah, I've been getting a lot. I would say this year, and stick around for this chat. I might go back and forth, but mainly this is a live stream about doing PA work, how to get it, because you know what, too, I'm just so tired. I didn't want to sit down and try and edit anything. The most I'll do is maybe do a better thumbnail after this post. But like, I'm so tired, you guys. So like last Friday, I did PA work for like some interview, like some women's roundtable discussion. That was fine, um, and then over the week, and then Saturday, I did brand ambassador work. And if you want to know what is a brand ambassador, I do have a video from the past about how to get brand ambassador work, what it is. I'll try and put a card if I can, if Livestream allows me to. If not, I'll just put it in the bio. I'll put the link for it in the bio of this video when I'm done. So I did brand ambassador work on Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday, I did PA. Well, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday I had the day off because I just had too many appointments. Um, they worked with me. I scheduled myself that way, but I did teach a class at Joanne's. So I really haven't had a day off in the last week or so, which I know people are like, dude, I work 5 days, 6 days a week. Um, what the hell are you complaining about? But I am a freelancer and I am mainly a stay-at-home mom. I care for my grandmother too. Oh, great. Sorry, I got a phone call. Oh, if I have to restart this live stream, I'm so sorry. But if I don't answer, my husband he just keeps calling and calling and calling and calling until I answer. So if it gets interrupted again, I'm just gonna end the live stream and then I'll start it back up. I'm so sorry. And I'll just kind of restart everything what what I've said. Um so yeah. Oh crap, I threw a pin. Um, so Sunday, Monday, I worked the PA job for this. Now these aren't my first PA gigs. I mean, don't think that I did these two over the weekend and now I think I'm a pro. I don't think I'm a pro, but again, this is not my first rodeo. I've been doing this type of stuff for years now. And not even PA stuff, just working on film, like being a seamstress, being like a wardrobe assistant, head wardrobe in one case, um, which I probably should have asked for an assistant, but you know, that was my first time. Hi, whoever's watching. Um, that time I had head wardrobe. I was the only one, and like I said, I should have asked for an assistant, and it was for a gig for a Lancome in a Lancome commercial for the Asian market, and they filmed it out in White Sands. So that was very interesting. And the thing about doing gigs like that, you know, I will say this, you know, the people who work on these things, you know, like any artistry, we're so into the art, we're so into the job. Obviously, these are big time brands. There's a lot of pressure on these people to produce a product, to make it good on the budget and time that they are allotted. You know, whenever I go into any kind of gig in that spectrum, I try not to go in and be, and you may analyze this and you might tell me what the hell this means, but I try not to go in and be too buddy buddy with people. I go in very, very serious. I mean, I do try and have a good time, but you know, there's a lot of different personalities, and some people might not like you. You might not like them. Um, you know, I mean, PA work can be really hard. Um, it's a lot of, you know, you, especially if you're like kind of like the PA and they don't have an art department, or they don't have um, craft services, which craft services is just like the snacks and stuff that keeps you going in between meals on sets. You know, the snacky person. You probably will encompass all those roles, and it's a lot. Excuse me, it's a lot of work. As I told you yesterday, I worked 16 hours. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning to. I was chauffeur too. I used my car. I woke up at 3:30. No, I'm sorry. I did not wake up at 3:30. I reported to work at 3:30. So I really woke up at 2:30 in the morning. I only had about 3 hours and 45 minutes worth of sleep. Um, and I went to go pick up talent. We drove very far away um, to because we were doing like a scene where we were just catching the sunset or sunrise, so we had to get there way before the sun even considered coming up. Um, it's, you know, it's just hard. It's hard to wake up early, but you do it because that's what you're supposed to do. And God forbid you sleep in late, you ruin the production. Like, you are ruined. You know what I mean? Like, forget it. Don't come back to work. You are done. So like, yeah, that's a lot of pressure in that case. You know what I mean? Um, and then also, I'm sorry if you see, I have to multitask. I thought last night when I came home from that 16-hour day, I would be waking up at noon, all beautiful. No, I woke up at 9 a.m. I watched the Threadbanger video, and now I gotta finish up customer orders because I need to be done with stuff. But that's neither here nor there. So, yeah. So, and then PA work, you know, you just kind of like the gopher, like you do whatever they want you to do. Hey, go get us 5 cases of water and a lighter. Don't forget the lighter. That's very important. There's probably a reason why they asked you to get that. This is our drink order. This person has he's lactose intolerant. Don't you dare let them put creamer in this person's coffee. So you have to be like very detail oriented. You know, I try and go around and ask everyone, please tell me exactly what you want. Please tell me what size you want. Please tell me if you have a plan B if they don't have what you want. Because a lot of times, you know, in PA work, if you're filming somewhere that's on location, you might not be in cell range. The people on set might not be in cell range. And even if they do, they might be busy. They don't have time to answer your text or phone call like instantly. So you need to have all this plan B, plan C written out before you go, you know, and it sucks, you know, you ask for something and then you go back and the person got it wrong and everyone else is enjoying their drink. And even for that moment, maybe enjoying that drink relieves a little bit of stress. And here you are, not even the least bit relieved of stress, drinking your favorite drink or whatever to keep you going. Um, I put a lot of miles on my car this week. I need to go get an oil change. Frankly, I can't believe my car made it. I mean, you know, she's old faithful, man. I have a little uh, all-wheel drive car, and damn, that little car took me places all over Texas, so in my area of Texas. Like, damn, dude, like I can't believe it. She is old faithful. Like, I can't give her up. Um, but yeah, as a PA, they might ask you to use your car. I mean, you could always say no. I don't know if they'd still hire you, if they'd get a rental for you. And a lot of times they'll ask you, we need a PA with a reliable car, which pretty much means if you don't have a reliable car, if you don't have a car, don't bother applying for this job because we're going to use your car because we don't want to deal with the hassle of renting stuff. It's just easier. Makes sense all around. Also, same thing. You're going to go get people's lunch. Don't assume. Make sure. Do you, and these are things you have to ask. Do you have an allergy? Are you vegetarian or are you actually vegan? If you're vegan, are you like against all animal byproducts, no lactose, all that stuff? Um, Nut out, like everything. You have to, everything. And so, like, the other day we were filming in like a state park on a mountain, and it's this massive state park. So, you know, on the last scene, my producer was like, "You should go get dinner now," and I was like, "Okay." So I got everyone's dinner order, double checked, make sure that I got everyone extras in case they needed it. Because I was learning during that week, you know, sometimes when I would ask people at first, they'd be like, "Nah, I'm not really hungry." And then when I came back with drinks and lunches, they were like, "Did you get me anything?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry you didn't. I was only told to get this much." So, like, you know, you kind of have to learn to adapt. Some people will change their mind. And, you know, at the time, they might not have been hungry or thirsty. But, you know, rest assured when they see other people eating or drinking, they're going to be like, "You know what? Did you get anything from me? By the way, I'm feeling a little snacky now." Um, so you got to kind of like anticipate that. Um, I've had other PA gigs where I was hired by recommendation, and I think maybe because sometimes they'll ask you like, if you're a production assistant, do you have any camera equipment knowledge? We need someone that has camera equipment knowledge. And I think for this one job I got hired to, they wanted someone like that, but I was not told. So I just came on the job being recommended, hired, and then they were asking me to get all this stuff from their cars, and I felt like a moron. I was just like, I don't know what I don't know what a bounce is. I don't know what a matte box is. Like, I seriously don't know what that is. And then they're like, "Oh, well, a bounce is like the little reflector." And I was like, "Oh, you call that a bounce?" Like, I knew what a reflector was from all my years doing photo shoots with my fashion stuff, but I never heard it being referred to as a bounce. I was like, "Oh." And then a matte box is just like this little frame you put over a monitor. Like, so you learn. But you know, you never want to go in there and actually apply and lie that you have this, you know. I was just kind of like, you know, I felt you will feel dumb at times because sometimes they expect you, and sometimes people are really cool, and sometimes they expect you to know the world, and you don't, even though you never claimed that you did. And again, you're just like, damn it, you know, I wish I knew all this stuff, which is not your fault at all. I mean, I think just stress kind of brings out maybe not the best in some people. And I'm not talking about yesterday's gig, just like gigs in my experience all around. Um, which is so strange. I don't know. I drove, I mean, so much yesterday, guys. and I don't have a spare on my car. I was just like, please God, don't let me get a flat. Because I do have a spare, but it's really old and I think it wouldn't last but a few miles. Like I need to buy a new spare. Um, so like, yeah, it didn't, even though I went up like this hiking trail with rocks and I got hung up for a few times coming down because we would come up and there was no space to turn around. So you had to like back out and go down this trail. I got hung up a few times. And I mean, like I'm telling you, my little all wheel drive just came through every single time. I love that car. I got to hook one of my friends up. They needed a picture car. I got to hook them up, so they paid very well to rent his car for the day. So I'm, you know, and I'm all about helping people. I think that's good when you start doing work like this in this range of type of work, just networking. You know, try and be impressionable to people in a positive manner, obviously, but just try and be impressionable to where it's like, you know, maybe they didn't talk to you all day. You know, maybe they gave you a hard time here and there, but at the end of the day, they did, when all was said and done, they did recognize that you worked really hard, and you know, you really, for the most part, didn't give them any problems. They will definitely hire you back. They will definitely recommend you, especially in markets which I think, you know, people who have been doing this more than longer than I have can probably definitely disagree and probably are right. But like I feel in our film community, it's very small. Even when I look at my local film commission manual, which I am in, um, I mean, it's not a big book, you guys. It's like the same people. Um, it's just the same people. It's a very short list of PAs, makeup artists, craft services, car rentals. I mean, it's such a small list. So it's a very small film community. So when people start looking for help in this area, you know, if they ask one person and that person knows you, you know, and they have a good impression of you, they'll give you the hookup. I rarely get called from someone just looking in the film manual. It's always word of mouth from someone who's been hired as a production company, and then the client is like, well, can you staff PA, crafty sound, whatever, whatever. And you know, as more as I, as much more as I do this, and I'm in a small film community, they'll ask me, they'll be like, hey, do you know anyone that does sound or editing or camera operator or anybody, security? And as more as I get into this and I make friends or meet people that are cool that can cover these jobs, I'll be like, yes, I do. Let me call this guy and I'll tell you. So I love hooking my friends up. I like um, I have a group of friends, not in film community, but we do brand ambassador work, and we just call it like stay paid, and we just constantly hook each other up. We only post the jobs in there so that way, I know this is selfish, but like just so that we can work with each other and like keep that circle of friends tight. So like if someone can't work a day, they'll be like, hey, can someone work this day and cover me, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we can. Like, you know what I mean? Like we all have we're our own backup staffing company, which has worked out, I think, very well for us doing that. So yeah. Um, so I mean, and now back to the beginning story. How, hold on, where's the other one? Hold on. I know this is live. I've dropped something. Oh, no, I didn't. I found it. Okay. So it'd be like, Sarah, how did you get into this work? How can I get into this work? Um, I vaguely remember how I first got into this line of work. I want to say, and I'm probably wrong, it was a movie called Unlimited. And I was still on Facebook. This was during this, what was this, like 12, 11, 2010, 2012? I don't know. It was a while back. And I got a message on Facebook. I want to say from a Facebook friend. It could have been a stranger that was referred by a friend of a friend. I don't remember. But I was still obviously sewing at the time. I've been sewing all my life. So someone messaged me and they're like, hey, do you know how to sew? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I make clothes all the time. Don't you see? I think that was in my head. I'm not really sure if I said that to her. That sounds kind of rude. But anyways, um, she was like, well, they need a wardrobe intern for this movie, blah, 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 blah. Is this many weeks long, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my God, on a movie? I was like, hells yeah, sign me up. At the time, I only had one child. My son was in school during this time. So it actually kind of like worked out and I got the hookup. For the duration of it, I didn't get paid because I was just interning. But there were a couple days at first where I was helping out the wardrobe um, excuse me, the head wardrobe guy, and we were like distressing clothes and making doubles of them because they don't, in the movies, you don't always have like one costume. If you do, that'd be very scary because you don't want to mess it up. So we were just like kind of copying and making doubles of the actors' stunt clothes. So I got paid for that. So that was a good experience. And then just from there, I people would just keep calling because they people knew now that I started doing stuff. And at first it was very sparse. I would get it work once in a blue moon, but I was building on that. And I made it known that I would like to enter this new niche of work, you know. So that went on, got more calls and more calls. Um, I was a production assistant for a couple years for this hair show that came to town, and it tried coming back to town. So I did that. So I learned how to contact businesses and do sponsorships and things like that. That was another just area of learning. I mean, I would I like to go back to doing that kind of work? Not really, because going after sponsorships is hard work, and you really work harder because you have to contact a lot of people to try and produce any type of results, right? So I wouldn't necessarily go back to work like that, but any experience is good experience. I have that on my resume. I learned stuff that maybe one day I can put to use in other arenas. So like, it's all good. I'm not going to regret that in any of my jobs really, because each one teaches you something. And that's the way you should look at things. Like every job should teach you something. Also, what do you call it? I'd have to, sorry, my husband called again. I'd have to look at my resume, see what the next job was. But the next biggest gig that I got was that Lancome one. And I did see that one as like a job posting. They posted it like in Facebook jobs or whatever. And I applied. And I have since done more work with them because the people that run that production company, they're so wonderful. They're just so cool. You know, they're all about helping cool people and network and getting people paid locally. So like I'm all about that. So I really enjoy working with them, and I've done jobs with them since. So they were super cool. Even I was going on vacation and she was just like so down. She was like, I can't do an on-face interview. I go, can you do FaceTime? She was like, yeah, sure. So I did a FaceTime interview on the side of the interstate for that job, and I got it. And that's how I did the Lancome gig. And then just from there, meeting those people, I've gotten more work working. I've even dipped my foot in doing art department stuff, which art department, you know, they stage props, they take care of things, they make props, can help build. I mean, they're not like the carpenter, but like build stuff and like kind of design sets a little bit. It's kind of all that work, which I'm not a complete stranger to, because like unbeknownst to me, I'd actually been doing that for many years before then, not even knowing what the role was called, because I would stage sets and stuff for photo shoots. So unknowingly, I've been doing work like that for a really long time. So when that gig came by, I was like, I actually do have experience doing that, and I kind of know my way around a hammer. So I did that for a week. Super cool. I met really nice people. I learned of a new town that was nearby that's super charming. And even then, we were there the other day for this last gig. And it's very interesting. You'll meet very interesting artsy people, I will say, in very small towns like Marfa, Texas. very small town, but super enriched in the arts, and it's famous for they film movies there too. I'm not talking about that town, but we filmed in another town that's close by El Paso that is giving me that vibe a little bit too, although it's not as well known maybe as Marfa, Texas. But so yeah, just from there, it's word of mouth, and also if you want to get started, you can also intern. A lot of people like I did, photo shoots and stuff. Not me modeling, obviously. I mean, sometimes it is fun to model, but no. But I'm talking about like we pay our dues for many years, not getting paid, putting up with stuff with people, and then eventually the time comes where it's your time to possibly put yourself out there to get paid work and work for other people, which I feel I've done and I continue to do because I did enjoy the art department work. I would like to get more experience in it. I mean, like all departments, you think but you don't until you actually work it. But I learned so much on that last one that if I can get hired for something else like that in the future, I have even more knowledge now on how to be prepared, what exactly to bring. When I was an on-set seamstress when they filmed in Truth or Consequences, which is a town. It's in New Mexico, but it's not that far from El Paso. I was an on-set seamstress for a Solange video, and I think that and the Lancome gig are one of my biggest brands that I've worked with. And I'm not a stranger to Solange, so when I got that the NDA from the Knowles family, we know. I can kind of talk a little bit about it now. The video has been out for some time, but I actually really like Solange. So when I saw that NDA and it said like the Knowles family, blah 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 blah, all the legal stuff, I was like, I got so emotional because up until then, like when you do jobs like this, you don't talk about it until maybe after the I mean, it'll say too, like during set, all this stuff, or you won't talk about the family to people who want to write books about them. Obviously, I only saw Solange for a little bit. I didn't get to talk to her or anything. I was just close by because we were able to kind of see the filming when the models were on the set, and she wasn't in it. She was like directing it, but I did see Solange there, and she's just like, girl is flawless. Like she is beautiful, even in person. Those Knowles girls are like, they have the best genes. Thank you, Tina. I believe that's their mother's name. I appreciate you, Tina, for making these women. Anyways, and then, so yeah, I was on set, and for that one, again, when you enter a small film community, the people who are running the show are scrambling. They're like, we need to staff all these things. Do you know a nail artist? Do you know a hairstylist? Do you know someone that can braid? Do you know someone that can sew? Do you know, like, because they just don't have the resources to staff that in such a small community. So how I understood it is that they must have asked everyone who was already hired, like the easy ones, right? Like I think hair and makeup, it's easy to find people because there's so many of them, especially in New Mexico. It's a big filming state. So I was messaged from a makeup artist. I've never met this lady, but I met her then, and she's nice. She's like, someone referred you to me. I heard you can sew. Are you available for da 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 da? If you are, please call this producer. So I was just like, thank you so much. I don't know who referred you, but I will call this person right away. We negotiated my rates. Also my kit fee, since I needed to do sewing on set, I had to take a bunch of my stuff. So I was like, it's gonna be this much to rent all my things for the day. They were like, that's fine. I packed up practically my whole freaking thing here. Sewing machines, cutting boards, cutting mats. I brought everything because we were on such a remote location. There's nothing for 8 hours, remotely sewing related that I could go buy. I was like 8 hours away from something like that. So I just brought my whole house with me just in case. Um, and it worked out. There was another seamstress on set. We had to alter 12 pre-made costumes to fit the models that they hired. And I believe most of the models they hired locally was from an agency here in El Paso. Even some of the girls I knew, I was like, hey. And some of them even, there was one girl on there that even walked for me in one of the El Paso Fashion Weeks a few years back. So I was like, hey, what's up? Congratulations. So, I mean, it's nice when you can see familiar faces all the time. You know, you have someone to talk to. And like I was saying back when you do other work, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you are working with a bunch of people, but you're working alone. Um, like for me on this one, I did a lot of runs in my car. I had a lot of alone time. Even then, you know, people are working. They don't have time to like chit chat with you, and don't even try. You know, this is one of those things where you need to be secure as a person and be like, I can talk to myself. I don't need to talk to anybody. I'm here to do a job. It's not going to bother me one bit if no one talks to me all day. I'm working. I'm here for a paycheck. It's only a temporary job. I can talk to someone when I get home. And that's really the way to look at things um, for that. Another thing with jobs like this, it's not like a clock in, clock out type situation. Um, you do have to also kind of be your own accountant. If you are an independent contractor, self-employed, they don't have a timesheet for you and someone takes care of that. You need to also be like, learn how to use a computer, because a lot of times they'll just be like, okay, we'll put that on your invoice. You have to invoice the accounting department. Like I said, there's no timesheet or someone that's watching out for your hours. You have to watch out for your hours. If you have a contact that is going to do your payroll once they receive your invoice, you have, like I would tell the lady, okay, well, we already know what time I started because you told me. Now I'm officially wrapped. I'm going to tell you I officially wrapped at 8:05 tonight. And she'll be like, okay, cool. That's been said and done. So you'll calculate your hours, calculate your overtime. In the film industry, a lot of days aren't 8-hour days like a normal work week. It's sometimes it can be like 10, 12, usually 12 hour days is like the normal work day, and then it's overtime. Um, 10, 12, 14. I worked 14 hours, I think, on Monday, but then yesterday was the longest, and I would say the hardest because I woke up so freaking early to do that. And again, I thought today I would wake up so late, but I woke up at 9 a.m. Here I am sewing, talking to the people on my YouTube channel. So I'll just end it now. I hope this was somewhat educational for you. My ass is tired. Um, yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. All right. Let me see. See, now I can't even end this. What is this? Okay. All right, bye guys.